I got EJ Clark and Max Edwards here. We just, raise your hand, I'll call on you, and we'll get started. And Liam, go ahead and kick us off.
So obviously this one's for either of you. It's your first game with GW. Max, this is your first college game. I know it's not an official game, but I mean, how did you guys feel out there in front of the fans?
I just felt like we had great chemistry. We've been working. This is our first year, so you go. You go.
Like I said, we've been working for this moment since June. And, I mean, I'm forever blessed. Like, I haven't played in 2 years, so it was a great feeling to be out there with my teammates, especially, he's coming from Texas, playing with him. Like, this is one of my closest friends on the team right now. And I'm just, like, my teammates set me up, and it was just fun being with all of them on the court for the first time.
Obviously, foul trouble a little bit of an issue for you guys, and obviously if you guys are out. But is that how much you guys intend to be as perimeter-based, that many three-point shots? Is that kind of indicative of what you guys want to be this season?
I mean, Coach always wants us to shoot the open three. We always do drive, kick, click. But they was obviously dropping today. I mean, the plan is never to foul. We try to put our hands up, but, that's something we got to work on when we get back to practice Tuesday.
Yeah, you guys both managed to shoot 50% above from three. What do you guys think allowed you to get those open looks and capitalize?
I just felt like our teammates set us good. Just getting in the gym, putting in work. That's what we do every day. So
definitely what he said. We all been in the gym every day. So, I mean, the hard work gonna pay off sooner or later. And today was just we got hot from three.
So talking about those three-pointers again, was that kind of your game plan to try and look for the three, or was that something you guys saw in the defense that you took advantage of?
I just feel like it's all about reading the defense. If they give us wide open shots, we're obviously going to take those. But if they're guarding it, we're going to drive to the basket. So,
I think EJ's and JB's penetration today allowed open shots for us because they was crashing in. So we just helped EJ and JB out by knocking down the open threes.
EJ, can you talk about a little bit what you are going to bring to this team? I mean, we got a little bit of a preview of it today. Quick player, shifty, gets to the line. So what should GW fans know about your game and how it kind of fits with this team?
Just me being a fifth-year guy, just being a leader and holding guys accountable and also holding myself accountable and just penetrating, kick out, get guys open shots.
Any other questions?
Max, how did that first mid-center dunk feel?
I mean, it definitely felt great. I haven't had an in-game dunk in over 2 years, like I said, but it was a great feeling just to be out there. If it was a dunk, a layup, a three, I'm just grateful to be on the court again.
Max, did you know anybody on the other team? You're from Connecticut.
I saw one, number 22 looked familiar. I talked to him a little bit, but I ain't never been on that side of Connecticut. They in Danbury. That's like an hour away. I don't go that way.
You guys forced 19 turnovers, had 22 points off of them. What was the key to that, and can you speak to some of the defensive intensity we saw today?
I mean, that's definitely the main focus on practice every day. It's defense, boxing out, stick hand, gaps. So you're gonna hear coach talk about defense every day, all day. So, I mean, we didn't even put our best performance on today, and we still was able to get 19 turnovers. So if we all on the same page, it's only gonna get better.
Hey, I give coach all the credit for that. We play defense all the time. So yeah.
Kind of off of the defense, Caputo runs a different defense than Coach Christian of last year. For you, obviously, it's your first year on the team, but how has it been fitting into a new system since you've gotten here, especially after just playing in the first game?
I mean, it's been great. I mean, they make me feel at home every day. The coaching staff, the teammates, they always checking in on me. I'm checking in on them. But I think it's really a family here. Like, I think everyone could say that we're always going to be there for each other. And, I mean, once like I said, we only going to get better. And once we start sacrificing for each other on the court, I think we got a good chance at going far in the A-10.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, thank
Thanks,
you.
guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, y'all enjoy your day.
All right, we'll take an opening statement from Coach, and then we will open it up for questions.
Yeah, I thought, it was, first of all, it was great to play Western Connecticut. My childhood really, really good friend that grew up on the same block is Guy Rancourt, the coach of Western Connecticut. Is one of the reasons why I got into coaching. So it was fun to have that moment with him. Brought his son to the game. That was cool. See him beforehand, and kind of comes full circle a little bit to have an exhibition against him to start my time here. So I was happy with our guys. Obviously we're a little dinged up. Without Hunter and Brendan, it's significant for us, and so for the guys that came in, I thought they stepped up and did a nice job, and thought we played pretty well.
All right, questions? Liam?
So, foul trouble. You guys were in some foul trouble.
Yeah.
Some issue with Ricky last year, a little bit with Noel. I think Noel had 3 fouls in the first 6 minutes. So,
Yeah.
kind of what I know that's kind of an emphasis this offseason, cutting that out. So, what do you? What
Yeah,
do you
I mean, our teams at Miami and George Mason really historically, if you look statistically, have been amongst the best teams in the country in not fouling. And it's a process. And unfortunately for me, the biggest motivator a lot of times when you're trying to help a guy not foul is to take him out of the game. But with some of our injuries and situation that we're in, can't quite do that as much as you would like to. The bench is always the best motivator, In Ricky's case, I told him, 2 of those were self-inflicted, right? And obviously it's something that we've trying to work with him on. And sometimes in these exhibitions, it's good when those things rear their head because, when the lights are on and they rear their head, then it kind of allows him to understand, like, hey, this is real again, right? And so the first one, which I didn't really see, but my guys told me he just kind of ran into a guy after a made basket. It's not really what we would want him to do, obviously. And then the technical certainly is not what we would want him to do. We took him right out. But 2 of those 5 are self-inflicted. You got 3, and I need him on the court. So we're going to continue to work. A lot of times it's being out of position, right? You're late to a play, and you come in and foul. You got to be careful with your hands, your verticality. I think big guys, especially early in the season, everybody's pretty whistle happy. And so got to help those guys a little bit. And certainly we've got to get a little bit more depth there in the front court with Hunter back and give us an opportunity to, try to sub them.
The work that Max did today kind of stood out,
Yeah.
obviously, both offensively and also crashing the glass.
Yeah.
Is that, you think, indicative of what you've seen on a regular basis here in the last month?
Yeah, I mean, Max is a freshman, in every sense. Like, he sat out last year at Kansas State, so – and really he didn't play in even practice until like late January or February or something. So everything he's going through is that of a freshman. And if I evaluated him as if he were a freshman, I think I said this to you at Media Day, then I would feel like, man, we got a pretty good freshman. Now, he does a million things wrong every single day in practice, right? But that's to be expected of a young player. But he's got things that he can do that there's not a lot of guys on the team can do, or many freshmen maybe, for that matter, in this league might be able to do. So I'm very happy with him. He's a great guy. It's going to be a learning curve for him. My hope is as we get healthier, he's like the only young guy in that in the starting lineup, rather. So it's like those 4th and 5th year guys are bringing him along, which I think will be very helpful for him.
Coach, you gotta love having a lefty. Have you coached a lot of lefties?
Somebody, we last team at George Mason, like there was a world where we could have put 4 out on the court, right? Ryan Pearson was left-handed, Vitrell Vaughns was left-handed, Mike Morrison was left-handed, and Isaiah Tate was left-handed. They didn't all start, but they all probably were in the game at some point at the same time. Yeah, so we have a lot of lefties on this team. It's JB and Max obviously right away come to mind.
So I think the story of the day on the offensive end was the 3-point shooting.
Sure.
Is that something we're going to kind of expect to see be one of the primary focuses on the offensive end going through the year?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to give Wes Conn's game plan some credit in terms of, they look at probably the numbers and they think, hey, we're going to stay in the paint, we're going to go under a lot, which they did early in the game. I thought what was encouraging for us was we didn't settle. We moved it and then got good ones. So while we made a lot, we had, 15 made threes, 18 assists. I would guess, I don't know the number, but certainly early in the game, the first half, many of those threes were assisted. So I don't think we settled for hey, they're going under, I'm just going to sit behind it and shoot. It was more keep it moving, let's see if we can get them into a mistake, and then the ball found the open guy, and that guy stepped up with confidence and made threes. Now, we're going to have to find ways to get the ball in the paint first, and I have to watch to see if many of those were paint and out, because those are the ones we would want to shoot. But again, you're never going to complain about shooting good threes.
Yeah, there was about 3 or 4 possessions in the second half where it seemed like their press kind of bothered you a little bit there. What was the issue and what was your adjustment?
Yeah, Brendan Adams in street clothes. James Bishop, I'm not putting him back in that game to just, somebody said to me with about 6 minutes, hey, it's going to be hard to watch for the next 6 minutes. I don't know if it was the idea, like an innuendo, like let's put James back in. And I said, well, I'm not going to get into my feeling. I feel the same way, but I'm not getting into my feelings right now and putting him back in because I've been around a long time. I know what happens when things like that, when that happens, right? So we're not doing that. So, yeah, no, look, we've got guys with very little experience in college basketball, and quite honestly, they're not guards. They're more wings, right? So you're getting pressed by a team that's a good pressing team, right? That's what they do. We've got, 2 5 men on the court and 2 3 men at the 2-3 and maybe a point guard. I'm not sure who was in, if EJ was even in at that point. So yeah, we were loose with it, and we've got to be a little bit more organized. My hope is we play in a game where there's pressing and James and Brendan are in the game together. They're able to handle that pretty well. And I also think Hunter, as a pressure release, is a very good guy in that situation.
Talking about James Bishop a little bit, he had 19 and 6, 4 for 7 from 3. What did you see from him today, and do you look at him as a leader on the offense?
Yeah, the guy is a very, very good basketball player. He really is. He's very skillful. Obviously, he's a good shooter. One of the things that I talked to him a little bit about when I got the job is, you're like one of the best shooters in any drill that I give you of guys that I've ever coached, and yet you're shooting 31% from 3 here. So is it you can't shoot, or is it your choices, right? Like sometimes the guys who I've had guys shoot 40% from 3. They're not as good as shooters as him. They just only shoot the ones they can make, right? The ones in rhythm, the ones that they're behind the ball, the one that's painting out, and all of a sudden those percentages go way up, right? So for James, I think to his credit, he's found that with us a little bit right now. On top of that, he can make all the reads and pick and roll. He's not 6'5" or 6, right? But at his size, he's got great vision. You see, I believe he had 6 assists and no turnovers. He rarely turns the ball over. So while I don't necessarily think he is a true point, I think he can play the point. And I think when him and Brendan are together, like modern teams, you got to have 2 guys that can play with the ball, play with pick and rolls, make decisions. I think we do have that.
Yes, Keegan Harvey didn't get a lot of, he was with the program last year, but obviously didn't get to play, and he got a lot of run tonight with the injuries. What did you see from him that you liked or disliked, and you think we'll see more?
I like that he let it fly early in the game from 3. That's where he can bring value when he gets in. Like Max, a young player, really like a freshman. Physically, I don't think this is any big secret. You guys have all seen him in a tank top, right? He's going to need to get physically stronger to have any effect on the game the way he would need to. But there's a path for that, right? That's why you come in as a young player and you work and you get stronger and better, but he's got a skill and he's got to get stronger. He had 1 rebound. He probably had 7 rebounds that were in his hands. So next game, he'll be lifting weights during the game while he's not in the game.
During the game, it seemed like the offense ran a lot more on the perimeter, a little bit more passing than what we had seen last year, where it was more a cut and drive heavy offense. Do you want the offense to be a little bit more aggressive in future games, or do you want to keep it with the slower, more swing offense style to get those open 3-pointers and other shots?
Yeah, I would say you'd want it to be aggressive. I think we were aggressive offensively, shooting the ball to start the game. We have some limitations, first of all, right, that we all know. And then without Hunter and Brendan, you're taking away my starting point guard, and then a guy when you're playing 5 out that's your trigger man at the 5, right, that's helping create action and create advantages. We don't get the same when we take those guys away, right? We want to play painting out. But I will tell you this, I don't know how many nights we got 18 assists last year, right? So I'm happy with that, right? Because it's all, you want to get guys to play hard, they got to feel like they're going to touch it, right? You want to get guys to play hard, they're going to feel like when the ball is going to honestly be swung to them when they're open, right? And so I don't know the number today, but we talk about like attempted assists. So you take your assist, you got 18 assists. You take the amount of times that you got a foul assist, right? Or somebody I threw it to the guy, he got fouled, but if he lays it in, that's an assist. So we're going to count that. And then we're going to take attempted assists where like, hey, I throw it to David, he just misses, but if he makes it, that would have been an assist. Those numbers need to be like in the 30s to have a good night, I think. Mid-30s, 32, 33, maybe if it gets up to 35, depending on who you're playing. Sometimes it could go lower. If you're playing a pressure team and you got to put the ball on the ground a lot, it's not going to be as high. If you're playing a team like we played today where they're certainly were packing it in on us, it might be more. You got to do more to create. But I think if we look at it tonight, we'll be plus 32, 33, I would guess, on attempted assists, which I feel like would be a good number. The other side of it is we don't have, at this point, a lot of speed to get the ball into the paint off the dribble, right? It's just not in our roster composition at this moment. And so we've got to manufacture ways to get the ball in the paint because we know if it hits the paint, you're getting fouled. If it hits the paint, you're scoring at the rim. If it hits the paint and out, those threes are going to be shot at a better percentage. How we get it there, that's the challenge, particularly without Hunter and Brendan, where you're getting us two more guys that have a skill set.
One more, we got it, Patrick.
Do you anticipate Hunter and Brendan being back soon?
I do, yes. So when, I don't but soon. I think soon. So I can't say it, but Hunter was ready to come back, and then he got sick, not with his knee, but sick. So it a month out. He's ready to go. He literally is in practice on sort of a load management plan, and then it just got pushed a week because he got sick. So he could have, in theory, we were thinking he was playing tonight, which I would have really loved, but we got pushed a week or so.
Coach, I played Division II. Virginia State's a tough team. Can you tell us about, for those that don't know, these guys are real guards. They're good.
Yeah, I haven't watched their team much, to be honest. I focused on this game, but yeah, these teams are good. The year we won the ACC, in 2013, Shane Larkin, that group, we got to number 2 in the country. We lost to St. Leo in the exhibition. These games are hard and they're hard for us, guys. We know it. Like every game's going to be hard for us. In fact, I think we played very well tonight to get out ahead, the way we did, and then to sort of hold it. So especially with who was out. So I'm very happy with that. But there's no game. We tell our guys all the time. It has no. It doesn't matter who we play. It doesn't matter where we play. The only thing that matters is how we play. And I thought tonight we played pretty good.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
See you next
Thanks,
time.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Along those lines, for more Ryan.